Now today is April 7th, 2024, 5:07 a.m. Me working as a dishwasher, not having to say much, is allowing my tongue to essentially become solid as is, and forming words seems to become harder and harder to do, and my pronunciation is decreasing. Now that I have formulated and placed into a situation where I need to clearly define my severance. This is my severance. This is a severance from depending on others for income. And this is what I need to do in order to stand on my own. But until then, I must rely on others for me to survive. Thanks to God. So it seems to me, other people have different ways of getting to the point. And for me, I am in this building called CenturyLink. So I'm in this building. It's a building called CenturyLink. And this building, and getting 100K, $100,000 is the objective that God has placed before me as a beacon. How do you spell beacon? Okay, beacon. And once I achieve that, so what I need to do is savings. So here are the criterias. One, pay all debt off. Legal is a big one. And that's a big one. Or two. Lawyer fee is another one. Okay? One more thing is I have to pay the early lease termination in Florida. Okay? Is that how you spell Florida? so let's do a spell check. Spell check, spell check. Where are you? Ah, right there. Oh, it is spelled that way. Okay. So that's what I need to do. Okay, so that's pay the debt off. That's it. That's what I heard. In order to become rich, I have to pay off the debt first. Then, 2 is savings. 3 is track record. So savings has to be a minimum of $100,000. This is after tax. Okay, that means I have to make about $150,000 in trading. I will acquire a CPA and make sure IRS is satisfied. I want to be on their good side forever, as death and taxes are certain. Then I need at least 6 months of consistency where I make consistent living returns at an acceptable level of earnings each month. This is the severance that I need to have. And it's going to be, so roughly, what am I looking at then? I'm looking at, so in total, conclusion, I need at least 150K in, no, that's, so in conclusion, what I need to do, it's going to be, I have to have at least $300,000 in trading earnings. That means even if my dishwashing noise is too loud, customers must, through the grace of God, return again and again and again to keep me employed. That is the goal. That is my severance right there. That will sever. That will provide me with severance. This is a realistic picture of where I need to be. And if I sleep, I feel like I'm like cheating myself out until I achieve this goal. If I find myself if I find myself if I find myself uh, uh, not spending the time, I feel like I am not doing my part, and so I have to extend myself. I have to keep at it, because in a few more days I'll be 55 years old, and time is a luxury that I do not have. So this is the severance. This is the picture that I have, and I told the owner, who is also a Catholic deacon. I told him this. He asked me how I was doing. How am I doing? So I drew a little picture. Just like right here. I drew a little picture. Drew a little picture. And in this picture, I described this picture. This is the point where I started, where I was losing a lot of money. And then I've come to the point where right here is a point where I have reached an apex. And then now what I expect to do is, when I pass the 200K mark right there, that's point B right there, point B. If I add a text to that, so if I add a text to that, text right here, that is my 200K funding right there. And consistency. Right there. And where am I? I am right here. Right now. I am right here. Right now. I am here right now. So essentially past the 500 and embarking on the 5K. And here is where I was. When this whole journey started, I was in Florida working for a company. And I was here. I was here, right there. I was working in Florida, and there was a court decision from civil case to a criminal case, and then I was suddenly tossed out into a 6-foot grave. Through the grace of God, I was able to find employment here in my hometown of Boise, Idaho. I was here in Florida. Before I left Florida and at a company, which they've shuttered and moved into a new building after I left, is at my desk there is a bookshelf, and with a pencil I wrote, I was here. I was here. Then for the past 3 years, I've consistently started to lose, but I was making forward progress in my experience. And finally, I've come to this point here, right here, where I have passed the $500 challenge of a prop firm. I don't know if I'll ever get paid from this prop firm. The withdrawal process seems to have been an incredibly difficult thing to do. And it is still an incredibly difficult thing to do because I still have not been paid. But there are other prop firms that I'm working on. Let's see, Funding Pips, Funding Traders, Maven Trading. Those are the three to name. And if these things work out, it'll be great. So I told a Catholic deacon today that I am, in about a month, I should be able to pass the 5K challenge. And I told him that based on the progress that I've made so far. However, anything can happen. They could delay it, but I had to give him a number. And realistically speaking, me washing dishes could take, I don't know. He told me that he washed dishes for 5 years. It may take another couple of years for me to reach this magic number right here. This is the magic number that I have. This is the magic number that I need to achieve in order to comfortably sever myself from the security of being employed that allows me to rent an office here. I was here. I was there in Florida. Now I am here. My personal trading account with TD Ameritrade, the loss has been reduced significantly due to a single adjustment that I made in my trading. And right here. This is where I am. And when I look at this and the way that I drew, hopefully there's a connection that is made between my faith and my progression. I was sitting across a Catholic deacon, and he asked me, "So how are you doing in your trading?" Because trading is not trading is so difficult. Not many people can succeed at it. in And because of that, he's probably thinking, well, I'm just spinning my wheels. Every penny that I made so far has been spent trying to make this work. And he in his mind, he's thinking that I will do this for the rest of my life. But I don't plan to do that, washing dishes for the rest of my life. And this has to work. Because I don't want to be washing dishes when I'm 60 years old. Obviously, I need to be I have a very, very important thing that I need to do. Trading is a bridge that will allow me to get to there. And before I meet my maker, I must get to a point where I extend myself to to allow the opportunity for that the most important thing that must occur to happen. I have to give the opportunity for the most important thing in my life to happen. I have to place myself in the situation. In order for me to do that, then I have to be financially stable. I have to be financially stable in order for me to get to a point where I can extend myself. And I was describing this, and now that I look at it, this is the shape of a U. This is the shape of a U. And this is a cross that I've noticed. I didn't realize that when I was saying this, but an astute individual who heard what I was saying may have. I have been. I am seriously lack of sleep. I haven't slept for quite a while, and so it might be my delirium speaking. But this is what I need to do in order to become consistently profitable. So essentially, I'm on the cross. It says here, you are on the cross. I am on the cross. The reality is when a customer says your washing dishes is too loud and it looks like you're tossing things like you're angry or something, which is totally baseless. And I told the Catholic deacon this. I told him, look, a couple of days ago, see, Wendy's hamburger restaurants currently have a March Madness that has been extended. Okay, so they're still doing it. So their hamburgers are like $1. So it's like 80% off. Okay, so when I get off work, see, they close at 11 o'clock. So a few days ago, I told them, look, the hamburgers there, I have to be. So when I drove up to make an order, the person says, "Hey, we're closed," even though it was like 5 till. Okay, I think it must have been 5 or 10 minutes, 10 till, and all I could do is, okay, and I had to leave, and I missed out on this hamburger. So then the next day, in order to get there before the restaurant closed, I just like worked as fast as I could. And apparently one of the patrons of the restaurant, and also who is a parishioner of Our Lady of Rosary, saw that I was working in the manner that I was working, concluded that I was making too much noise and I was like angry or something. And I told the Catholic deacon, look, if I miss out on a hamburger for $1, I didn't want to miss out on it, and so I had to work really hard to get there, right? So I told them that, and normally these pots and pans, they clang together. They're loud. What? I mean, that's how things are. And the motivation for me to the motivation for me to to get that hamburger for $1 was so important that I was willing to work really hard to get my job done early as possible. And unfortunately, a customer who saw that was, I have no idea. I don't know. I have no idea. I'm treading on really dangerous territory here because I don't want to offend a customer, because a customer is the most important thing in the world. But what I've noticed is that when I go to a buffet, there's a sign that says, "We have the right to refuse service to anyone." Okay? And I thought to myself today, maybe I don't know. I'm treading on dangerous waters here. I could be unemployed the next day, so I'll stop right there. So this is me on this area here. I was here. I was there in Florida. And that's where my journey began. And every penny that I made was lost. It was, I would make up a bunch and I would like lose everything. And that kept continuing until I reached this point here on this cross. Okay. I am here right now, past the $500 challenge. 500 and embarking on the 5K. And I told the Catholic deacon today this. I said to him, look, I passed the $500. This is clever evidence. I cannot give him a number like a month of my progress in day trading. Okay, unless I have substantiated information that says, okay, passing the $500 is a substantial amount of number that I can tell the world, especially a man of God, that I have made progress, and I must be an irritant. I must be the I must be I must be someone who is so irritating right now. I must be, and I must truly be it. Okay, look. Anyway, so so that's the situation I'm in. Okay, so now I have this 5K. I have this 5K that I have. This 5K challenge is a significant jump from the $500 to 5K. That's a significant jump. But when I make this transition, and SMB Capital talks about this, SMB Capital says risk bump. They talk about this something called a risk bump. And I saw one of the interviews he had with Etienne Crete, and where he talks about one of his one of the people that are SMB Capital platform traders saying that they wanted a risk bump. And the risk bump is essentially, it is what it is. It's not the sudden rush of a higher incremental risk factor can cause a psychological disturbance in trading. And that's what he meant here. That's what he was talking about right here. And so what I have here is $500, and jumping up to 5K is a risk bump. So within this risk bump, that is a significant factor in here, because payday of a 5K trading account is a substantial factor in the returns that I get should I be profitable. $500, making that on a 10% basis is essentially $50. $50 is essentially a 10%, and in perspective of making that within a month, though it's very difficult to do based on the research that I've performed. 10% a month is very difficult to do. It really is. It's a very difficult thing to do. So if I look at it on an even harder level, which is to achieve it at a level of achieving 10% per month, which is essentially $50. Okay, that's $50 with a $500 account. However, if I can do the same thing with a 5K with a 10% within 1 month, that's roughly about $500. $500 is a substantial, see, when I make this money, I have to talk to a CPA to figure out how this works, because the amount of losses that I've incurred in the past years is a significant amount. It's a serious amount, which means that the money that I make right now can be completely tax-free at this point, because it is essentially erasing the loss that I had. Okay, and so in that perspective of incrementally moving the factors of $500, 10%. Factors of 10%. Okay, if we're talking about 10% here, we're talking about $50 here. And if I do 5K, that's $500 right there. That's $500 right there. And the next challenge is going to be 50K right there. That's the 50K challenge that I will be doing. And what that means is within 1 month, I'm looking at a $5,000 within. It is possible to generate a higher return, because sometimes I am able to make about 2 to 3% in a single trade. 2 to 3% in a single trade. Maybe 2% in a single trade. Scalping, right? And so now I'm looking at 100K, which essentially is $10,000 per month. We're looking at per month. Okay. Right there, 10% a month. 200K would be 20,000 a month. Okay, that is something. This is something that I can work with, but it's still at this level here, making $20,000. That's still it's going to take to achieve 300K. To achieve 300K, we're looking at roughly about a year and a half. We're looking at about a years. Okay. That's a realistic picture. From this point forward, we're looking at maybe a year and a half. And this Catholic deacon said that he was a dishwasher for 5 years. That means that if I am, through the grace of God, however deficient I am, okay, and even if I'm loud, God must allow me to wash dishes for the next at least 2 more years. And if things work out really well, I mean, so we're looking at about 2 years. We're looking at about 2 years right here, 2 years. For the next 2 years, we're looking at about at least 2 more years in order for me to give myself an opportunity to reach my target right there. And once I achieve that, then I can go for the most important part of my life at this moment that clearly defines my present existence. It really is. Because what I found out, is essentially living in this world for myself is an empty calorie. It's an empty calorie. It's an empty its reward is just empty. It's an empty kind of a situation. And what is most important, as my cousins are attempting to connect family members together right now, and I can sort of see now why they would do that, is to reconnect with the family members. So what I need to do is achieve this, but realistically speaking, this is something that's going to take about a year and a half to do to reach this point at this level. If I were to start at this moment, okay, if I have this account at this moment, when I have this platform challenge that I have started, from that point, it's going to take about a year and a half to do. That's the realistic picture of what's going on. So it is possible, though. It is possible with this account that this could be a significant number. My ability to earn higher is is it'll vary. It could be smaller or it could be higher. That's the realistic picture. So that's the reality of the situation. Okay. Hey, the light turns on at 5:45 in the morning. Well, that's wow. I tell you what, I haven't slept. I haven't. I have been like dozing off on this chair for the past several months. Because if I were to go to the room and sleep, I feel like I'm not doing enough. I feel like, I feel like the effort that I need to place is not there. That's how I feel at this moment. And fortunately for me, today's Sunday and Forex market is open, so that'll be my first trading day, and the Asian market will open. And for the first little bit of time, there won't be any trading going on because of the low volatility. And I put this out there raw. This is it. This is how the owners are asking me, so how's your trading going? How's your trading going? And when I connect something together, I'm thinking to myself, boy, I know I have to leave, but realistically, I have to impose on you for at least 2 more years. At least 2 more years. If things go well. Okay, I could be 57 years old, but I dearly wish to not impose when I'm 60 years old. I don't want to impose on your generosity. I don't want to impose on your generosity until I'm 60 years old. So I'm trying to figure something out, but there's nowhere else for me to go. There's nowhere else. The law has placed this most difficult challenge upon myself to make this work. I cannot get a job anywhere on a professional level that provides me the welfare to to acquire a home, to create a stable insurance, to create a stable means of income to support myself, feed myself on a daily basis, and washing dishes. And I am a crusty old man. I know it. I I know I am a crusty, old, irritable, uh, hard to get along with. I know that I am. Okay, I am. I admit it. I know that I am not the easiest person to get along with because I know it. I know it. And I want to be as true representation of who I am as long as possible at every moment of my life. And I know when I do that, that 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 it is irritable, like a. I mean, if I put a grain of any size of salt in my eye, it becomes very very irritating. I know it, despite the fact that my body's aching and I'm doing my best. I am, and I'm severely lacking. I am severely lacking in intelligence, and that's why I'm still here. But despite all this, I'm making progress. I'm making progress, but it's gonna take years. I asked the owner here months ago when she was here, and I told her, look, I know that I've been here for Office Evolution for several years, but it may take a few more years. And she said, and thankfully she said it's okay. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful on this side where I can rely on here, and I'm like I've taken over this corner of this office. I've taken over this corner of the office, and I'm here every day, sleep deprived. I've been sitting here dozing off. I had instances where this is downtown, and the nightlife on a Friday and Saturday is significant. And so once in a while, these individuals who are heavily drunk would slam themselves on this mirror, and I wake up to the sudden thud of noise. Or these couple drunken ladies would knock on the door and says, "Hey, let us out," and starts something. I've seen it all here. So realistically, God, uh, I know that I'm a very, very irritable old man. Okay, and I have experienced life through thick and thin. Okay, and realistically speaking, how am I doing in my trading? I know I have to sever myself from working as a dishwasher. I know that my time is up. I know that. I know that. However, this is something that I need to achieve. If I go anywhere else with my criminal record, uh, my employment will surely be terminated within 1 month. First of all, the employer knows that I have a criminal record. Secondly, I am not the easiest person to get along with, despite the fact that I am a hard working individual. Okay. And when I go to work, I tend to limit my conversation as much as possible to focus on work. And that rubs people the wrong way. And I will most likely be terminated within the first month. Okay. It's easier to fire one person than fire 4 or 5 people due to the fact of disagreements. And I will be that one person who will be fired, just like Jesus Christ, right? So this is the realistic picture of what I need. This is the realistic picture. So when you're asking me, so how is your trading going? This is how it's going. This is the severance picture that I have. And although I would love to leave tomorrow. I would love to say, look, I'm gonna give you guys a break, and I will no longer ask for employment. And I know that what I'm doing for this restaurant does not justify my existence here, as the problems that I'm causing outweighs any benefits that I give you. And so I know that, and I'm prepared to leave. But at this moment, this is the only thing that I can do. There's no other place to go. Okay? So that's the realistic picture. So when you're asking me, how's your trading going? This is how it's going. This is the realistic picture of this is we're talking about I'm in about a month. I'm thinking this might take about this is this so I've already achieved this, okay? So I've already achieved this. Okay? I've already achieved that. I've already achieved this one right there. I've already achieved it. I've demonstrated it already. Not just once, but twice. I've already achieved that. Now I'm embarking on this. But this is going to take about a month, I think. Okay, this is realistically speaking, that's going to take about a month. Okay? And when this is achieved, this is going to be less than a month. Because so all of these is going to be a month. Okay? 1 month. So I should be able to achieve this within the next 4 to 6 months right here. I should be able to get to here in about next. So what I'm looking at the end of 2024. Okay? Or December of 2024. I should be funded up to 200K right here, right there. That's what I'm looking at. That's the picture I have. And then from this point forward, we're looking at from this point here to accumulate this amount of my severance. We're looking at the year 2026. Right here, realistically speaking. Okay, realistically speaking, I'm looking at year 2026. Okay? Right here. Right there. We're looking at the year 2026. Okay? We're looking at so we're looking at 6 months from now. So we're looking at May of 2026. This is May of 2026 is when my severance will occur. That is it right there. That is the time where I can say thank you. Thank you so much for putting up with me. I know that when people put their elbow on my back and then I react and I get upset, that happens. Okay? People will come up to you while washing dishes and they'll take their elbow while walking by and just place it right on your back. And when I turn around and I get upset, it's not the right thing to do. Okay? I don't know, but that's not the right thing to do. So I have to just ignore that. Okay, whatever happens there, I have to ignore. I have to be I have to be like Saint Teresa. Okay? So until then we're looking at about we're looking at about 2 years. Just like Deacon Lou said, he said he was a dishwasher for 5 years. I'm having to be a dishwasher for 5 years. I have to work as a dishwasher for 5 years. Despite the fact that I'm sleep deprived, I'm working every moment, and every waking moment I'm reducing my sleep. It'll still take at least another 2 years, despite the fact that I am here right now. I was here in Florida on a desk. I wrote, "I was here." Okay, I was there, and they said to me, "Only through the grace of God will you ever be employed there." And right now, the grace of God is not that powerful for me to work there. In me, he's the Almighty and is very powerful, but His grace is not in me substantially to allow me to return to the lap of luxury of being employed for a reputable company due to the fact of my criminal record. Now this is something. This is something that I need to. This is the point where I get to this point right there, and this is the launching point for the most important thing that I need to do at this point in my life, and which will serve me for the rest of my life. Despite the fact that this is the hardest thing that I have done so far, but I have to cross this bridge. Okay? So if I were to draw a bridge, so if I draw a picture of the coastline and the edge right there to oblivion right here. Okay, that's one. Then I have to draw another one. Right here. Okay. And there is a bridge. Okay. There's a bridge. And that's a bridge right there. And I have to cross that bridge and to get to the other side. To help me get to a point where I can achieve the most important part of my life now. When it comes time, I've already disclosed this fact to this Catholic deacon who has been so generous, who has closed his eyes to my severe deficiencies in personality, although I work my ass off. And the work that I do is high caliber, quality work. There are things As I stated, that I am a grain of salt. And when I land on somebody's eyes, I can be a severe irritant. So I need to get to the other side. I need to get to this point right there. I need to get to this point. I have to get to this point right there. Right there. I have to get there. I have to cross this bridge. So if I were to insert something here, and this is the other side. This is the other side. I have to cross this bridge to get to the other side, and that's where I need to be. Surprisingly, there's something that I need to do. This one single item is the most important existing thing that I need to do now. Everything else is irrelevant. But I have to cross this bridge. I have to get to that point. And I have to be in this point where, I'll say it again, but it's going to take, crossing this bridge is going to take about 2 years. So when you're asking me, how are you doing December 26th? Oh, 24. Okay. But it's going to take year 20. That's the reality of this picture. This is it. Right here. Until then, I have to rely on your generosity. I have to rely on your generosity and hope that you'll overlook the deficiencies in me. And I pray that I have what it takes to compensate you in the work that I perform financially to justify my employment as a dishwasher. So when you're asking me, how are you doing? Okay, this is how I am doing.